this whole thing about the mechanical failure of the car, the possible sticking accelerator or whatever, Roy Black said in his opening statements, "We will prove to you that there was a mechanical problem with the car."
Yeah.
Pretty important words, and they better be able to do it. I mean, otherwise it comes across as, to me, that they're just grasping at straws. They got to have some kind of proof, whether it's a computer readout from the car's black box or a mechanic who says this part was damaged and it probably caused the car to accelerate, or maybe there was a brake problem, whatever they're going to use as the mechanical difficulty.
Right.
They better have some proof. Otherwise, it just looks like they're just pulling something out of their ass to try to save this guy. And I think jurors are smart enough to see through that.
Glenn, do you think that that's what happened to the car?
No, I don't buy it for 1 minute.
Okay, so then it's not proof because it didn't happen.
No, they don't want proof. All they want to do is cast a shadow of a doubt.
No, it's not shadow of a doubt. It's reasonable doubt.
Right.
It's not shadow of a doubt. That's what everybody gets wrong.
Yeah.
It's not shadow. It's reasonable. Is it possible that aliens came down? It's possible, but it ain't reasonable. So there's a big difference there. So let's not everyone get caught up on shadow of doubt.
Right. Well, I'm not buying the excuse. There's no way.
Neither's the jury. He's going down. Peace, guys.
All right. I certainly hope so.
Go to Ted in Tequesta. Hello, Ted. You're on the radio.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Even if his car did fail, I would convict his ass just because he took off.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you hit somebody and push them into a canal and you take off, you're I don't want to say it on the radio, but if he really did have a mechanical failure on his car and pushed some kid into a canal, you'd find me wet trying to get this kid out.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And I know you can't, Ted. You're a decent human being. And for him to sit there and tell us that I hit something, but I don't know what. That is a lie.
Yeah.
And when you hit a car with the force that he hit that car, where he flipped it before it went into the canal, he was going at a high rate of speed.
Sure,
I think
had to have been.
Yeah.
If I'm the jury, I'm just going to run this by you. I'm going to run this by you guys. If the police, if he dialed 911 and jumped in the canal and he's trying to fish this kid out and still he dies, does that give him a lesser sentence? Does that give him leniency?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
In my mind, if I'm on the juror and this guy made a mistake, he made a mistake. He drove drunk or whatever.
Right.
And you find him, trying to pull the kid out. The kid doesn't make it.
It's a special kind of low life form, Ted, that would leave the scene of an accident.
Yeah. And if you listen to Roy Black's opening statements yesterday, where he said that Goodman had a level 3 concussion. Then that's why he didn't know what had happened and why he left the scene. But if he had a level 3 concussion, how did he know to pick up the phone and call his girlfriend?
In Atlanta.
Right.
And tell her that he screwed up.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
He's a coward.
Yep.
All right, guys, have a good day.
All right,
Ted, thank you, sir. We go to Lake Worth and Bob. Good afternoon, sir. What's up?
Hey, guys, I'm a little bit of a legal expert. I stayed at Holiday Inn Express last night.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
I've grown up with a lot of lawyers, and this is why it is not his fault.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
You might want to call Channel 12 for this.
Okay.
It's not his fault because there was a mechanical failure on the car, and a lawyer could prove it.
Yeah.
There was not a breathalyzer on the ignition.
And that's the mechanical failure?
That's mechanical failure in a lawyer's mind, because you see, the car manufacturer should have thought about all these things.
Yeah.
And if there would have been a breathalyzer on the ignition, this would have never happened. So therefore, this poor man is a victim of Bentley.
I was just going to say, it's Bentley's problem.
Exactly. And I can see a case coming against Bentley later on for their failure to provide this to the poor Mr. Goodman. He is going through all this mental torment because of Bentley's inability to foresee the future.
But if there was a breathalyzer starter kit on that car, somebody else could have breathed into it for him.
Yeah.
Well, you know, but hey, they did not provide it.
Sadly, Bob,
it's Bentley's fault.
I know, and sadly, I can hear Roy Black saying exactly what you just said. Yes.
Yeah, I've worked for a bunch of companies in South Florida. I'm originally from Miami, and the convoluted crap we used to get sued for.
Yeah.
I worked for a company that produced underground items, and the castings would be in the wrong spot, so the kid couldn't cross. Even though DOT told us to put where to put these things, the kid got hit by a car, and the lawyer's suing us because, well, your thing was in the way. And that's why the kid jaywalked and got hit by the car. It wasn't the fact he was a little snot and ran out in traffic.
Right.
It was our fault. And that happens all the time, and that's lawyerese.
Sure.
And that's why Roy Black's rich.
Yep.
See you guys later.
All right. They're talking about the breathalyzer in the car blowing into the tube before you start the car. Just reminded me of that story I read many years ago about the guy who got popped for DUI.
Yeah.
He had a tube in his car. Instead of blowing into it, the tube was connected to the windshield washer reservoir, which he had filled with whiskey.
Oh, God.
He was sipping it. He was sipping it through the breathalyzer tube.
You got it bad.
Yeah, you do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you
Drinking
do.
like that. Mike, you're on the radio. Hello, Mike.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I'm from Port St. Lucie, and this is a little bit off topic, but I left this town back in like 1994.
Yeah.
And I just moved back last year, and I was just wondering what happened to a couple of people while I was gone.
Yeah.
Where's TJ? He used to be on the radio like all the time back in my day, and now he's nowhere to be heard.
He's still around. I think he moved to Orlando or someplace, but he'll call from time to time.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
still
You're
around.
right.
Oh, yeah. He still shows up. He was that, I believe, at the marathon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he still shows up.
Right on. How about Mildred? Is she still hanging on?
No, Mildred died of cancer probably
8
years ago, 7 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that was one of my fondest memories of ever meeting you guys, actually, was at the benefit for her aluminum trailer thing back in the draft house.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay. I remember that. We had
the karaoke
it
sing
was a
along.
karaoke thing,
Yeah.
and we had hold on. I got somebody up there singing Ebony and Ivory.
Yeah, it was the late skinhead David Lynch.
Yeah.
Skinhead / neo-Nazi David Lynch. He was up there singing with her, and a black guy.
Yeah.
And Mildred were singing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
One of my most prized possessions is a tape recording of me and her at the benefit singing "I'm Too Sexy."
God rest her soul.
God bless her.
We had a lot of fun with her.
Yeah.
Man, she got. I still use the word armadillo to this very day.
Armadillo. Well, I still, after all those phone calls and and we put the call on the CD, even still today, Mike, I will say aluminum.
Yes,
Right.
he will. Yeah,
I
he sure
can't
does.
get it out of my head.
Yeah.
I know
She created a meme.
she had her own language.
Yeah, she did. Well, yeah, most Southern folk do.
Yeah.
And so the last person that I was interested in there was a guy who said something along the lines of, there's a storm coming, all right, it's coming after you people.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a Psycho Man.
Psycho Man has moved to the Virginia area
I
somewhere.
think so.
I don't know where.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. So he just disappeared.
Yeah.
Huh, good. Right on. Well, hey, that's all I wanted to know, man. Thanks for bringing me up to date.
All right, Mike.
On the show, and I'm glad to be hearing you again.
Other than that, you haven't missed a thing.
Same crap, different day, baby.
Yeah, same
That's
old
it.
show.
Yeah,
Huh?
that is absolutely right. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Mike, thank you. Go to Pat. Good afternoon, Pat. What's up?
How are you guys?
Doing all right.
I got to tell you, I'm a little disappointed in John Goodman. I always kind of thought he was among the acting community. I always thought he was a decent person.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, I'm a motorcycle rider, and I always wear my helmet, and I don't do it for my own protection. I do it because of the people that care about me. If something were to happen to me, they would be distraught,
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
He hopes.
But when you know, when somebody wants to go for a ride on my bike, I try to talk them out of it. No, you know, I'd really rather you didn't, you know. You know, if I'm on a motorcycle by myself and I hurt myself or get injured, or then it's just me.
Well, Pat, you have the capability of saying, no, I'm not going to give you a ride on my motorcycle. Why don't you do that?
Right, which is why I don't a lot of times. And it's because, you know, if I hurt myself, it's one thing. If I were to hurt somebody else, I'm not sure I could ever forgive myself.
Right.
You know, and so for this whole thing with John Goodman, you know, and again, I always thought he was a fairly decent guy who just happened to look into acting.
Okay.
But from everything I'm hearing, it sounds like he's got the joke the rest of them.
We got the joke, Pat.
Hey, really, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
You know, I thought he was a regular guy who just lucked into acting, but turns out he's just like the rest of them.
Okay, we got it. All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. You can't be that on he's cracking a joke. It's John Goodman, the actor. I think that's funny. Steve, you're on the radio. Hello, Steve.
Hey, guys. Before I get into what I was calling about, I'd like to ask you why the Germans are getting a bad rap in the UFC.
Oh, God. Now we got people pretending they're Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
Doug, you're on the radio. Hello, Doug.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
What do you think? If it was me that hit that kid, you think I'd be out of jail yet? I doubt it. From that night, my wife gets mad at me when I've had 2 drinks at Duffy's and drive home. You know what I mean? I'll tell you a story, though, about lawyers. This was some years back when a buddy of mine, my car was in the shop in North Miami Beach, and I asked him to give me a ride to go get my car. So he's like, yeah, sure. So he had a Bronco, a Ford Bronco. We were going down Sunny Isles Boulevard, 163rd. We get to 19th Avenue, and it was blocked off for a block. They were doing some construction, digging up the road. So we drive around the block, they had a detour. We stop at a stop sign, and here comes this little Toyota pickup truck, station wagon. And the lady who was driving, it was just starting to rain. She didn't realize the road was closed off. So at the last second, she panics, slams on her brakes, slides sideways, and crashes into us. Now, we're sitting at a stop sign.
Yeah.
We're innocent bystanders. But my buddy goes, oh, crap, man. He says, my license is suspended, which he didn't tell me. He says, just tell the cop you were driving, you know. So we explained to the cop what happened. You know, I gave him my license, and we were sitting at the sign. Well, a year later, I get a summons. Oh. I am being sued by this lady for the pain and suffering I caused her.
But you were just parked. You were just parked there. You weren't even moving. We were parked
at a stop sign. We were innocent bystanders. Right? So I go to the deposition, and being the honest guy I actually am, I should have never told the cop I was the one driving in the first place. But I told, which was my insurance company's lawyer was giving me the deposition, and I told her, I said, well, there's only one problem. I actually wasn't driving. We were just sitting at the stop sign, but I wasn't the one in the driver's seat. And she goes, oh, that changes it completely.
Oh, sure it does.
Take this to court. Yep. They'll say, if you're willing to lie to the officer that you're lying. I had to pay the lady, well, my insurance paid her $10,000, and I had to pay my deductible.
Oh, ouch.
So that's what you get for helping your buddy out.
So what did your buddy have to say? You still friends with him?
Haven't seen him in years.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him in years. I don't hold it against him. It's just something that happened. But lawyers, man, that's lawyers. That's what it's about.
All right, Doug.